Hi Lockie, hi Eve. I'm going to read you a story. This one's called Shoe Cottage. It's about a big shoe, I think. I wonder what goes on in there. There was an old woman who lived in a shoe. She had so many children she didn't know what to do. She gave them some broth without any bread, then whipped them all soundly and put them to bed. Lots of children. There was an old woman who had a great brood of 21 children, but not enough food. They all lived together like peas in a pod inside a big shoe. Well, now wasn't that odd? Got a dog in there too. Lots of children. When all of these children played rough, noisy games, it vexed the old woman who yelled out their names. Joanna and Simon, Tom, Peter and Paul, Eliza, Matilda, John, Arthur and Mole, Susanna and Charlie, Jim, Polly and Dan, Jemima, George, Lucy, Tim, Jack, Marianne. Do stop all this racket. It's hurting my head, or I'll whip you all soundly and put you to bed. Oh, she's cross. In spite of their hunger, they all loved the shoe and were cosy inside it when icy winds blew, till one morning they found an enormous great hole where the toe of the shoe'd come away from the sole. Don't worry, my poppets, the old woman laughed. We'll patch it together to keep out that draught. She tried hard to mend it with glue and with string, but it soon flew apart. Crack, rip and ping. Uh-oh, don't think that's working. For only a cobbler could sew up their shoe. They needed a giant one. What could they do? The children decided that night where to go and crept softly out through the gap in the toe. They went through the village to visit none other than Jack, where he lived with his geese and his mother. Jack planted a bean, and a beanstalk grew high. In no time at all, it reached up to the sky. There it is. Look how high it's going. Up there lives a giant, said Jack. But beware, he'll gobble you up if you don't take great care. Thank goodness I've something to keep you from harm. Just give him this goose. It will work like a charm. Where's the goose? Is that the goose? I think that's the goose. The children thanked Jack and set off hand in hand to climb to the giant's high, faraway land. The end of the beanstalk at last came in sight, and there was the castle just off to the right. There's the castle. Ha! The giant snarled rudely and snatched up the bird, which laid one gold egg, then a second and third. He bared his huge teeth and a big gappy grin and roared in delight, "You had better come in." Uh-oh. The children had tea in the giant's great hall. One huge baked potato was food for them all. He said when they told him the plight of their shoe, "You've done me a good turn, I'll do one for you." Oh, look at all the children in the giant's hand. He brought out a basket and started to grope for needles like lampposts and thread thick as rope. With polish and brush, they all went into a sack, which he tied up with string and slung over his back. Then, holding the children in one monstrous hand, the giant climbed down with them back to their land. His steps shook the ground. People cried out in fright and hid where they could to keep out of his sight. Oh, there he is. There he is with the shoe. The old woman quaked as the giant drew near, but the children assured her she'd have nothing to fear. With needle and thread, he then sewed up the shoe and polished it up bright and shiny as new. The old woman thanked him. The giant was pleased, and out of his pocket he suddenly seized a handful of seeds, each as big as a rock. "Just plant these," he chuckled. "You'll get quite a shock." The old woman planted them row after row and watered them well till they started to grow. They grew and they grew and they grew and they grew till each plant was almost as big as the shoe. For salads and soups, they had carrots and greens, potatoes, peas, onions, tomatoes, leeks, beans. They swooped all the extra for butter and bread and always went full up and happy to bed. That was good. The giant gave them big seeds to grow big tomatoes and potatoes so they'll never be hungry again. And he fixed their shoe. I hope you liked the story. Bye. Love you.